Cowardice. Are you serious? Apologies for freedom. I can't handle this. When freedom rings, answer the call. On your feet, stand up tall. Freedom's on our shoulders. USA! Enemies of freedom. Face the music. Come on, boys, take them down. President Donald Trump knows how to make America great. Deal from strength or get crushed every time. Over here, USA. Over there, USA. Freedom and liberty everywhere. Oh, say can you see it's not so easy, but we have to stand up tall and answer freedom's call. USA, 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 USA. We're the land of the free and the home of the brave. USA, USA. The stars and stripes are flying. Let's celebrate our freedom. Inspire proudly freedom to the world. Ameritude, USA. American pride, USA. It's attitude, it's who we are. Stand up tall. We're the red, white, and blue. Fiercely free, that's who. Our colors don't run, no siree. Over here, USA. Over there, USA. Freedom and liberty everywhere. USA. Oh, say can you see it's not so easy, but we have to stand up tall and answer freedom's call.
Welcome to ASP StuffRadio, the internet radio show where we talk about Trump's creepy fascist anthems sung by little cheerleader girls and carefully examine a whole bunch of random stuff. So much stuff your head might explode into tiny pieces of stuff atomic particles. It's Saturday, January 16th. I'm your host, Albert Joseph Felice III. Joining me today is Stephen Felice and Paul Felice, your stuff analyst experts. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hi. I'm a little frightened.
Yeah. What'd you think about that anthem?
Scary. It's kind of scary. I think they're trying to get you all pumped up on American pride.
Yeah. Sung by...
I was having nightmares of like Children of the Corn or something there. These zombie kids coming after us.
Here we are.
They're controlled by Trump.
Yeah, brainwash. The video is even more creepier if you watch it. I'll put it on the show notes on our website.
I don't want to have nightmares.
So where did you dig that up from?
Some follower on Twitter. A guy named Ben Horton posted that.
Is he a Trump supporter? Or?
No, he's a critique of Trump. I was like, wow, this is what they play before his rallies, I guess. I don't know.
Well, maybe they do different renditions. You know, maybe they'll have like a redneck sing one time, playing on his banjo, or...
Oh, they probably vary up the axe.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on this week?
There's lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff to dissect and analyze.
Political stuff.
Yeah.
No Star Wars.
Nah.
No Star Wars news.
Star Wars is all done, but they did get snubbed at the Oscar nominees. Right?
Yeah.
I think maybe John Williams might have gotten a pity
That's because
nominee.
they already got nominated in 1977 for A New Hope. Why do it again?
Well, it's the same movie, so, right?
Yeah, it should have been nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay from A New Hope.
Yeah. Or at least
yeah, that's true.
Good sound effects or original score. So
yeah, it should have been nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Comedy.
Oh, comedy?
Did you see that?
Martian. Right.
No, I didn't see what happened.
It was nominated for Best Comedy.
Oh, really?
I haven't actually seen the movie, but
yeah, I saw it.
Is it funny?
I mean, it wasn't like slapstick funny, but I could see why it was funny, but I wouldn't categorize it as a comedy.
I think it was a whole joke, right? To nominate it as a best comedy, and I think that was part of a joke, or I guess just to get it a Golden Globe. I don't know. I haven't read up on it.
I didn't think
that was kind of weird.
I didn't think it was a great film. I thought it was Castaway was better. It was trying to be like Castaway, but on Mars.
Because when Ridley Scott accepted the award, he was like, "Okay, that's comedy, sure."
Yeah, it must have been a joke on Ridley Scott or something, or maybe there weren't that many good comedies.
They had
or maybe comedy. Does Golden Globe nominate comedies?
Yeah.
They separate best movie between drama and comedy. And that movie would not have won if it was lumped in with all the dramas, because obviously The Revenant's gonna win by default.
Well, The Revenant was more dramatic than The Martian, I think. I mean, I haven't seen The Revenant, but just based on the trailers.
Yeah, but I think it hurt other movies that were actual comedies.
Do you know what were the other comedies, or you just heard about it?
I have to look it up.
Yeah, I have a feeling it was some kind of a pity.
It was The Big Short was in there. Trainwreck was in there.
What?
Which probably was.
I think Trainwreck probably should have won. I don't know if you guys watched that. That was kind
I haven't watched it yet, but it looks good. And then The Big Short looks good too.
I saw that last night with Nancy. That was not a comedy. I mean, no, it wasn't a comedy. It was depressing.
So how could all these movies that aren't funny get nominated for best comedy?
I don't know.
That's weird. There must be something going on with the Golden Globes.
Joy 2, Silver Linings Playbook Part 2.
Oh, right.
Was nominated. Yeah. So some better movies that lost out because they were competing against The Martian in a category it shouldn't have been in.
Well, then it shouldn't have won anyways because it wasn't funny.
I didn't think it was that great.
Judged on how funny it is?
Maybe it was a musical.
It was just Matt Damon.
Did Matt Damon break out in song and dance on Mars?
That's probably why. But he wasn't even on Mars. He wasn't even on Mars. Yeah, he danced to disco music, but that was it.
It's some kind of a joke. Some kind of a running joke. I guess the Golden Globes are now a joke.
Yeah. So Obama's State of the Union address. Did you watch that or?
Speaking of best comedy.
Yeah, best comedy. We got Obama, the comedian, on our State of the Union.
Well, I've listened to parts of it. I think the middle of it.
You just look up the transcript online, and it's basically here's just basically what it's like. So let's talk about the future. 4 big questions that I believe we as a country have to answer. Remember,
sounds like
regardless
Bush.
of who the next president is or who controls the next Congress. First, how do we give everyone a fair shot at opportunity and security in this new economy?
Secure.
Second, how do we make technology work for us? Sorry, you can shut up now. And not against us, especially when it comes to solving urgent challenges like climate change.
Yeah.
All right.
I love that.
How do we keep America safe and... Okay.
Can't even finish a sentence.
Let me start by saying that... Yep. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Now, the United States of America... Yes?
Is that what it was?
We're in the middle of the longest streak of private sector job... More than 14 million jobs new... Now that's just part of manufacturing surge. That's created nearly 900,000 new jobs.
Tax cuts.
All these trends have squeezed workers. I didn't say anything. Okay. So America's the great... Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Standing ovation. Get up.
Okay. Thank you. God bless America. God bless America only. Just America. Just America.
Black president
Except for
of the
Trump.
United States of America.
That's basically the State of the Union address. Just applause.
Except for Paul Ryan. He didn't applaud for anything.
No,
Not
in the
even-
background, he looked. That's funny.
Not even for the military or
Oh, yeah.
anything. He
Yeah.
just sat there with that face.
Yeah. Just that smirk. I couldn't. Was it a smirk, a stank eye, or just like this? Who is this guy? I don't
It's
know.
a combination of all that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Stoic smirk, unemotional.
He's very stoic in how he smirks.
He's pretty
Right.
good at it. He plays a perfect role for that.
But we must focus on destroying ISIL.
Oh,
So on and on and on and on and on.
So it's just a lot of applauding. Well, I listened to some meat and potatoes of it. Didn't he get into how the economy has improved quite a bit? Unemployment has been cut in half, right?
Yeah, but then you find the fatcheck.org and then you got something like this.
In his final State of the Union address, President Obama focused less on traditional policy and more on politics as a whole. But that didn't keep a few misleading claims from sneaking in.
More than 14 million new jobs, the strongest 2 years of job growth since the 1990s, an unemployment rate cut in half.
President Obama omitted the more than 4 million jobs lost during the first 13 months of his presidency, which makes the net gain in total employment since he first took office just under 9.3 million. The 14 million figure used by President Obama was actually the change in private sector jobs since February 2010, when the job losses bottomed out.
That's just part of a manufacturing surge that's created nearly 900,000 new jobs in the past 6 years.
6 years? Obama has been in office for 7 years. Over his entire time in office, manufacturing jobs have actually gone down by 230,000. Obama also claimed he'd cut the country's deficits by almost 3/4.
And we've done all this while cutting our deficits by almost 3/4.
Which is close to true if measured starting from the $1.4 trillion deficit run-up in fiscal 2009, which the president had a hand in creating. His appropriation bills, legislation, and executive orders increased spending in 2009, and thus the deficit, by as much as $203 billion. The president also repeated this claim about the Affordable Care Act.
Nearly 18 million people have gained coverage so far. And in the process, healthcare inflation has slowed.
That slowdown in healthcare spending has been linked mainly to the economy. In fact, the growth rate jumped in 2014, when the law's coverage provisions were implemented. There's one last claim worth mentioning.
And meanwhile, we've cut our imports of foreign oil by nearly 60% and cut carbon pollution more than any other country on Earth.
Sure, that's true in terms of pure tonnage of carbon pollution, but the US also produces more carbon pollution than many other countries. We're the second largest emitter of carbon pollution in the world. Dozens of countries reduce their emissions by a larger percentage than the US. Get the facts behind the political rhetoric at factcheck.org.
Rhetoric.
it's so serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about to cry.
Yeah. So basically, Obama's a liar.
Well, okay, all right, but aren't a lot of the politicians?
But he's the president of the
liars?
United States. Bold ass lies coming out of his mouth.
The thing with
So
the
you're
jobs,
saying,
Wait.
yeah.
the
Go ahead,
thing with
Paul.
the jobs is he inherited a really terrible economy, and so to me, to mention the job loss in that first year that's more on Bush than in the Republican administration than anything that he contributed to.
Well, Albert knows.
But you
he
still have
just
to get
watched
the numbers, right?
Albert just watched the movie Big Short. So what was it because of Obama that the 2008 crashed, or what was that all about? It wasn't Obama, was it?
Steve Carell.
Yeah, it was all Steve Carell. So
That's
if
Steve
you're
Carell.
gonna throw Obama under the bus because of the 2008
Well, again,
stock
conspiracy
and housing crash, I
conspiracy
think that's
theory.
kinda-
We don't know if Obama was in on it, on the housing market, the crash, the 2008 financial crisis.
When was he elected to office?
2008.
So, so before that, you think he was planning? I don't think he was planning as he was running for office to crash.
Well, this whole thing started in 2003, I would think. Yeah, 2003 with a subprime mortgage.
But but the crash hit in 2008. That's when the bottom fell out.
Yeah, that's when it crashed in 2008, September 2008, but it was building up in 2007.
So you're saying it's possible that Obama was lurking in the dark background. So
he bailed them out.
All these
he bailed them out.
Bonds.
He bailed them out.
Bailed out the big businesses, the banks, right? He bailed out Detroit, right? And I think in some of the sound bites, he says that the car industry wouldn't have failed if it wasn't for him, right?
Well, we don't know that for sure. It's just a hypothetical, counterfactual, right? We can't really provide any concrete evidence to support that.
So you're saying that we should have let the big banks fail?
Yeah, to let the markets let nature take its course.
And what would have happened? You think that would have been okay?
We don't know. We can only speculate at that point.
It's one of those ethical questions.
Yeah. Like if I didn't eat a bagel today, then I'll probably eat Cheerios.
Do you think any politician would have let the big banks fail?
Well, they probably.
What do you mean?
Well, all I'm saying is, what would have been the alternative?
Let them fail. Let them go corrupt.
I mean, all I mean is, what politician would have let the big banks fail?
Well, let's assume.
I think Ted Cruz would have.
Let them fail?
Cruz, is that his stance? I don't know. I actually don't know what all the other politicians' stances are. And in fact, all the guys that are running, I mean, that's one thing to run for president. Everything you say up until this point is just a soundbite, just trying to gain popularity, right?
Right. All right, so let's try to get back on track. So the point is, so what were we talking about? 2008, job losses or the economy. And you were saying that Obama inherited that first year from George Bush when he was wrapping up his presidency, that he was ultimately responsible for having to carry that burden. And so we shouldn't count that first year for the jobs, manufacturing jobs.
Well, you can't necessarily say it's all on Obama, or that they should be concerned with, counting those numbers in. Even if you do count them in, you do have to put that, kind of footnote there that was already the situation. It wasn't like he did something to cause that.
Right, okay.
So starting with what happened the year after, the last 6 years of his presidency, those numbers probably mean more than counting the first year's numbers. Okay. But you do need to get the numbers right. You just have to be able to explain.
Put it into context.
Put it into context.
Okay, good. So,
yeah, and I think what you gave there was a fact checker that was giving opinions. You just want to state the facts.
He was just stating the facts. He was very...
Well, then he was giving a little bit of an opinion.
So Obama wasn't really lying. He was giving a general truth, but he was suppressing some evidence that might otherwise make you think something different. So...
He's saying he created more jobs than actually he created. It was just you'd have to explain all the numbers.
Yeah, you have to pontificate. So
that drags out the State of the Union address too long. He said he wanted to keep it short, and he didn't want to get into all the policy. And that was the thing that he was criticized on, was that he didn't spell out a lot of clear policies. But he said that's how he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I think for your last State of the Union address, that's fine. If you want to go more big picture, then go for it.
Good job.
and also want to say that I think in his past couple of State of the Unions, he did try to spell out some policies that he tried to get through Congress, but just never happened. So I think this last year, he's probably tired of it. He's probably over it, and There's no point, especially with gun control.
Yeah, that's what he. Yeah,
that's why he was crying.
Ted Cruz was critical afterward. They were interviewing him, and he said Obama did not mention once gun violence or any proposals to fix it. But he did mention at the beginning that was one of the things he was going to work on, even in his last year, was trying to stop gun violence, continue to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So he did mention it. It wasn't that he didn't mention it at all. He just didn't mention any specific proposals.
Yeah.
But he focused on what you're talking about, Stephen, which is trying to get politicians and everybody to work together to fix things, even after he's out of office.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a pretty good way to talk to everybody, especially with all this noise of Trump and the Republicans who are not agreeing with each other and Congress not really getting anything done. To go out focusing on that, I think, was more important than spelling out a bunch of policies that aren't going to get passed anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and he tried to mention some bipartisan, quote-unquote, topics that they might agree on. I guess curing cancer and abolishing, what was it?
I thought there was a cure for cancer.
HIV. For certain cancers, I think there's a cure. I think cancer is a little bit tricky. It just depends how soon you're able to diagnose it.
Oh, which reminds me of all the celebrities that recently died from cancer.
Yeah, we should do
That's a conspiracy also.
Wait, what, Paul? Oh, yeah, remember.
Yeah.
Memorarium. So we had David Jones or David Bowie, Renee Angelil, Celine Dion's husband or grandfather. Ian, because he's old. He's like 30 years older than her.
Yeah, Santa Claus looking guy, right?
Yeah, Ian Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead, a rock band from the 80s, and then Alan Rickman. Or Professor
Professor Snape.
Snape. They all died.
You know, 2 days before that, me and Caroline were watching Robin Hood. And he's the Sheriff of Nottingham. Yep.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I had a premonition. I must have had a premonition.
Oh, this is before?
Yeah, this is... I hadn't seen that movie in probably since it came out.
91 in Anderson Cinema. Yep.
Yeah.
The little theater. Anderson.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And
at the peak of Kevin Costner's.
Oh, yeah.
That was his biggest movie, I think. It's probably right after Braveheart.
Dancing with Wolves, I think, was his other big one.
Or Lost of the Mohicans. Was he in that?
It was around that time. Was he part of that? I don't know. But he was trying to compete with Mel Gibson, I think, at the time.
Water. What was that? Waterworld, yeah.
Oh, that was the downfall.
That's when he was falling out of off the radar.
He overshot that one. He was trying to go too big.
Yeah, I don't think he's that great of an actor, but I don't know. Maybe I have people in Indonesia that disagree, but
so that leads to our other transition about
the magic word.
Yeah, Indonesia.
Well, Indonesian robotic music.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, by the way, so my first semester spring semester at ASU started this week, and I got an email from a student named Geeta asking to enroll my logic class. She exists. Geeta does exist.
Did you ask
stalking
her what she thought about the last episode?
No, I did not. I didn't. I don't know if that was the Geeta though.
No,
ASP Stuff Radio.
Stalking you. It is.
I don't know. Geeta, are you stalking me? Are you the Geeta that's been listening to our show? You're trying to enroll in my class?
She's not gonna give herself away.
I thought that was interesting.
Stalkers don't do that.
But anyway, so the Indonesia attack in Jakarta on
Jakarta.
Some ISIS members carried out an attack In Jakarta, I think.
Yeah, but only two people were killed.
No, I think they've modified it to 6, but 2 to 6. But we send out our condolences to Indonesia listeners. We hope you guys are recovering from a tragedy.
It was over in Jakarta. Is that the capital of Indonesia? Or
I think so.
Does anybody know?
So I thought a lesson in Indonesian geography.
Yeah, no. So we need to be learned and schooled. So the president.
I read part of your article.
Yeah. So the gist of the article is that President Joko Widodo.
I think you just insulted
Don't butcher.
Joko. Don't butcher it any more than I'm already doing. So Jokowi responded in a rational and calm manner instead of vehemently retaliating and declaring war on a terrorist organization. And here's the quote from an article. So there's more than one way to respond to terrorism. That societal resilience can be emphasized just as much as military resolve. That the threat of terrorism can be scoped and contextualized alongside the various other threats a country faces. So instead of trying to smoke them out, Joko tried to put everything in perspective. He didn't want to declare war on ISIS because
Joko is Muslim. Joko is of the Muslim religion.
Yeah, so you have to put things into context here too, right? He's a leader of the country with the largest Muslim population in the world. I guess they have 87% of their population is Muslim.
Yeah.
So if you start, first of all, you're not even going to freak out because you're all Muslim.
But
so
and therefore terrorists.
Islamism isn't going to scare you because your neighbor, everybody around you is Muslim. You're all going to be united in that. It's not like you have a large Christian population versus these outsiders who came in and attacked you. So it's a lot different than, like, if Christian people came in and bombed them, then they might be freaking out. They'd be afraid of this minority of Christian terrorists who are coming in and committing these religious, radical acts.
No, that's a good point that you raise. So, and plus, like Steven said earlier, it was not to degrade human life, but it was only 2 human lives instead of, say, over 160 or 200 lives. Maybe his reaction would have been much more severe. We don't know.
Yeah, it's probably more like, here, if a couple of white guys shoot up a shopping mall and kill 2 to 6 people.
That's a good comparison.
It's going to be treated like a police, situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just some guys who went off the handle, and we're going to look into it and have the proper authorities resolve the issue and
it's
bring him to
just
justice.
another crime, another crime in Indonesia. And he looked at it as, well, we have drug smuggling or drug trafficking going on, and more people are being killed in terms of the drug cartel in Indonesia, not in terms of Islamic extremists, I guess.
Yeah, so he was saying that we have other major problems to deal with. Terrorism is not our main concern. We should focus on drug trafficking. But
and do they have open carry there in the Indonesian provinces?
I don't know. Hideko, if you don't mind, maybe you could send us an email, an update, let us know if there's open carry in your country.
Is it a lot like Texas, the Wild West? I did hear a news story on the radio about I guess in London, policemen do not have guns.
In London?
Yeah.
What do they have? Tasers?
Big sticks?
Spiderwebs?
They just have big sticks.
Sticks?
Or batons? I don't know. I don't know how they police without guns.
Jedi mind tricks? The Force? They use something?
Lightsabers?
I think they hide lightsabers underneath those big furry black hats that they wear.
Or cats. I think they have cats underneath there, and then when someone's breaking the law, they pull their cap off and take out their cat and throw it against the person's face, and then
that's dangerous. That's more effective than a gun.
Yeah.
A puma comes out.
Attack!
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah. So
apparently, British cops are very too proper to carry guns.
That's an interesting idea. We should try that experiment in America with the cats. That is, instead of guns, just carry cats or a rabid dog.
You're gonna have PETA all over you for that.
Sorry, PETA.
We're gonna have lots of emails and calls.
Yeah. So I wanted to go back to the point that you're making, Stephen, about Indonesia, the president of Jakarta or Indonesia, and he was trying to put, the deaths of terrorism, they're not as major or significant compared to, other tragedies.
Well, Paris has 130 deaths.
Right. Yeah, but so I'm just saying, well, what about America? If you look at over the course of the past 10 years, how many people have died from various acts of terrorism? Not that many. And you take a simple study with drunk drivers. How many Americans or United States citizens have died from drunk driver accidents? And in 2013, I think it was roughly 9 to 10,000 in 2013. That's about 800 people a month. Right? Shouldn't that be a concern? Drunk drivers and alcohol,
well, it's
than
all
say
about
terrorism.
Perception. It's all about perception. So what America perceives is the significant issues. That's what they're going to pay attention to. So that's highly dependent on what the media is outputting to the American public, right? So what are they feeding the American public? That's
a bunch of crap. Because terrorism is not significant when you compare it, to other major issues. I mean, people dying from something on a daily basis, as opposed to a once now and then terrorist attack. And that's what Joko was trying to say and put things in perspective. People died, some random act of terrorism. It disturbed our peace and harmony, but we're not going to let that affect us. He didn't.
I think I agree 100% with Joko, but I just see it. Trump and all the Republican
and those little cheerleader girls.
They use these scare tactics, quote unquote, scare tactics. So that's what's gonna
World War
drive
III
you to the polls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what's gonna get you out to vote, and more importantly, it'll be the white vote because those are the people that like to vote.
So you don't think?
Okay. That's who they feel makes a difference.
All right.
White folks that vote, they can get them to vote, and minorities don't go out to the polls.
Okay.
Right?
Let's see how many people. If I get a big round of applause, if I say something about drunk drivers versus saying something about terrorism. Okay, ready? All right.
All right.
Okay, America, we need to do something about those goddamn evildoer ISIS members. Yeah, we're gonna kill ISIL.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next issue, we need to stop all those crazy drunk drivers. Because that's a big issue. 800 people are dying every month, and no more alcohol for you drivers.
I need a beer.
But ISIL, we're gonna kill them.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it only happens once every 10 years. See? I mean, you're right. Okay, so
death to alcohol. Not quite the same.
No.
You need a cricket.
Death to terrorism! Yeah.
Yeah. So
stopping drunk terrorists. There you're gonna get an applause.
Yeah. All those drunk ISIL members, we're gonna get them!
No alcohol for terrorists.
And what's the perception about alcohol? Like, it's a high school problem. It's high school kids that are the ones that get drunk and drive cars, right? Those are the people. Yeah. So it's only a high school problem. See, it's all about the perception. And this goes back to when we talk about black hoodlums versus white partiers.
Yeah.
You know, when teenage white hoodlums get out of control, it's not a problem. But when black teenagers, when they end up out of control, they're called hoodlums.
I laugh because it's true. No, you're right. The way the news reporter, the tone of their voice changes. You know, it's the black rioters.
They have to specify this was not related to gang violence.
Yeah.
Not related at all. It's just a party that got out of hand.
Okay, so well, did you want to mention, speaking of racism and discrimination, going back to the Golden Globes, you mentioned how, what was that Ice Cube movie about?
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton, the story about...
Is that an old movie?
No, it came out this year.
It came out, really?
Yeah.
I don't know why it seems like, or was it based on a book, or...
Well, it's based on this group called NWA that I'm sure Albert listened to
back in the day. Rebecca and Marisa were fans of NWA, I think. Remember they were into rap, hip hop back in the old.
Are we allowed to say what NWA stands for?
Go ahead.
Does Albert
I'll blurb it out. Or
remember?
Yeah.
So it was an album. Then. That's what I'm thinking of. Or a song.
They had a few albums. I think their initial album might have been called NWA. I can't remember. Maybe Albert knows. Albert's probably got it in his one of his boxes.
Yeah, some tape somewhere.
Okay.
So do you want to say what NWA stands for, Steven?
Niggas with attitude.
Yeah, niggas with attitude. Wit. So quote niggas with attitudes. So Paul,
this was in the early 90s?
Late 80s, early 90s. Well, the name of the band.
If you know who
Ice
Dr.
Cube.
Dre is, Paul, this is when he came out. Yeah.
So you got, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, DJ Yella, Eazy-E, and Compton.
Old school.
Yeah, very old school. So they decided to do a film on the origins of that group and hip hop and
what they had to go through when they became famous.
Yeah.
They were just speaking their mind, and they grew up in Compton, and they got famous through Compton and talking about the streets.
Yeah. And so the film...
but
like LA riots time frame,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
So the film...
Screenplay?
It got
What's that?
88% at Rotten Tomatoes. But you said, Stephen, that you listened to a clip about on NPR how it got snubbed. And your theory, or his theory, is that the Academy Awards overlook non-white talent, filmmaking talent.
Yeah, it's an opinion that I think a lot of people share.
Yeah, because the Academy is just filled with white Jewish men and women, predominantly men.
Yeah,
Straight out of LA.
Yeah.
Or New York.
Straight out of New York Temple.
Yeah.
No, there's some large white communities in Los Angeles as well. I think they were white screenplay writers though.
Well, yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, that's
what
true.
They got nominated for, right?
Yeah, the writing, the screenplay written by Jewish guys, so obviously they get nominated, but
they got nominated, I think, but everybody else, Compton area.
And then even last year with the black guy that played Dr. Martin Luther King, wasn't that he got snubbed too? Selma movie, yeah, Selma.
He should have been nominated at the very least.
Yeah. So what's up with that Academy Award?
What's up now, bitch?
Dang. Oh, so
you want to play that? You want to play that clip?
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, I had breakthrough in ASP Stuff Radio. We have some listeners from Mexico, Russia, United Kingdom, and Brazil. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're actually listening. They are just hitting our website. So
Really? How do you know that?
I have a site administration. I could check the visitors per day.
Man.
How many people?
I wonder how many are involved in terrorist groups.
I don't know.
So which terrorist countries are following us?
Well,
Russia?
I think it was when I posted the link to Mia Burrito, the Mexican song.
Uh-oh.
And whenever I post links, people do searches for that particular Mexican song, the Christmas song. Our site probably...
Now we show up.
Yeah, we show up now, and so someone probably in Mexico discovered our website, and then...
KPCC supporters
and those aliases again.
Yeah. So maybe. Welcome to ASP StuffRadio. I'm Caustic Climacus. Today we got Patrick Hurley and Snyder. Snap. Professor Snaps.
Snap Snyder.
Wendleton Sniperus.
All right. So was it around the 3-minute mark?
Yep.
For acting in it, for adapted screenplay from Emma Donoghue. It's a tiny movie. Not a lot of people have seen it. I was surprised it got in. I was disappointed that Carol was not shortlisted for Best Picture. But I thought it was not an embarrassing list outside of one omission that was kind of thematic in the nominees this morning. That was Straight Outta Compton. I'm not sure it rose to the level of Best Picture, but I think it told a lot of the story from this morning, and that was Oscar So White.
Yeah, so as far as Straight Outta Compton goes, I actually was predicting it for Best Picture just because of the strength it had with the precursors. It picked up a top nod from SAG. It was among the PGA nominees. It was a WGA nominee. The last time a movie picked up all of those and wasn't nominated for Best Picture, it was Bridesmaids. So this is sort of a statistical anomaly. Unfortunately, it's not an anomaly as far as, hashtag Oscar So White goes. Last year there was a lot of controversy over the fact that all 20 acting nominees were white. And this year we had that yet again.
Hollywood loves sequels.
Despite an incredible roster of really nominatable people and films in movies like
Michael B.
Creed.
Jordan and Creed, Idris Elba, and Beasts of No Nation. There's a long list there.
Yeah.
0.
And it's really disappointing and infuriating. And, the Academy is going to take a lot of flack for this, and rightly so.
Flaxseed?
Really old, white, male
Flaxseed.
group. But that said, I was looking over the studio slates for 2016. It's not like the...
So we got the idea.
Yeah.
First of all, I really hate that phrase. With that being said...
With that said,
isn't that irrelevant? With that said, isn't that irrelevant?
You don't need to say being said.
Or having said that...
Well, what should the guy have done?
Just continue with his next sentence.
Just continue.
Now, having said that...
How about this? Now that we're on the topic, whatnot. How about whatnot?
Or whatnot and whatnot. What does the what and the not refer to? Or is it one word?
Just whatever you want to say it's not.
It's whatever the hell you want it to mean.
Maybe they don't know what it is, what this whatnot is.
Yeah.
And maybe they confuse themselves.
So, and this whatnot. Supposedly it means et cetera, or and so on and so on and so forth.
Well, then say et cetera.
Instead of whatnot.
Oh, and one more. And then when people start saying specific names, like the Donald Trumps and the Ted Cruzes of the world, or the
Albert Joseph Felices.
Yeah. How many Albert Joseph Felices are there in the world?
There were one time 3 or 4.
But so yeah. Anyway, so there's racial discrimination and Oscars and Hollywood and.
But what is Hollywood mostly made up of? In terms,
I think we already offended them.
Don't we offend them on a
weekly basis?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Larry David relates to these people.
Yeah, I made a disclaimer and I try to modify it so that it had that kind of sound, like the NPR ball clipped sound.
The following internet radio show, or, quote, podcast, end quote, may cause explosive, intermittent diarrhea, violent diarrhea, inside your pantalones. Please listen at your own discretion. You've been warned. So if you're ignorant, you probably don't want to listen to this show. Otherwise, you will crap your pants real bad. said.
Now, having said that, we are ignorant too. We are ignorant.
Yeah.
That said, what do we want to talk about next?
All right. Well, having Paul had said that, let's mention quickly about this whole hoverboard burning thing. Now,
Exploding hoverboards?
Exploding hoverboards. So, like,
not exploding out of your butt.
That should be the weapon the police use. They should all ride hoverboards.
And then they self-destruct. You just kind of throw it when you're done with it. Yeah.
So this is really interesting. So, a priest was suspended for riding a hoverboard on up and down aisles during Christmas Eve. This was last year. It was in the Philippines. So I'm gonna have a brief 1-minute clip.
Not your usual church sermon. This Catholic priest has been suspended for riding a hoverboard during Christmas Eve Mass in the Philippines. Father Albert San Jose's rendition of a Christmas song seemed to have gone down well with churchgoers at the time, but has since received a mixed reaction. The Diocese of San Pablo said the Filipino priest's actions were wrong, and that he is now out of the parish to take time to reflect. They hoped this would act as a wake-up call. With 81% of the Filipino population defining themselves as Catholic, it is often the case that the country's culture and society has had a close relationship with the teaching of the Church. On this occasion, however, Father Albert may be wishing he'd stayed at the altar.
Oops. Sorry, that was me, Father Albert. So the priest, Father Albert, should a Catholic priest...
You're ordained?
Yeah, I was ordained. So the question is, should a Catholic priest ride a hoverboard during Mass? Should they, let alone sing, on a hoverboard? And what's wrong with that? Why not? Why can't a priest ride their hoverboard?
Well, because it's wrong in the presence of the Lord to promote technology.
Thou shalt not ride hoverboard.
I think they don't want, so you don't want to try to pretend like you're better than Jesus. And if you're on a hoverboard, you're probably acting like, okay, maybe I can hover over water, walk on water, whatever, hover over things, and almost emulate Jesus in that way.
Beat that, Jesus!
Up Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you notice, the hoverboard is not actually a hoverboard. It's just a skateboard that's
on wheels,
automatic.
Or
automatic, right?
Yeah.
Or they just don't want priests to look cool or hip.
All right. Yeah.
It's against the law for priests to be cool.
So I think what the Pope needs to do, Pope Francis, is it Francis or the Pope?
Father? Oh yeah, the new guy, the new Pope.
Oh man,
the new Pope.
Indonesia will be real disappointed with us.
Oh, they're mostly Muslim.
Oh, that actually will be cheering for us.
Yeah.
So the Philippines is upset.
The Philippines.
So the Pope needs to just break out his hoverboard and just go hoverboarding down Vatican City.
Now, what if it bursts into flame?
He'll survive.
In spirit, he'll survive.
I think this is a conspiracy. I think the fact that hoverboards do not hover and they do have a tendency to explode. I don't think we'll ever be able to build and sell real, actual hoverboards as Back to the Future predicted.
Yeah.
This is a conspiracy to hold down, restrict technology development.
Yeah. They need to call it the Burst into Flames board.
Plus, I think it's a good idea for Mass because, once those people, they should give them to everybody who's giving out the Eucharist. So they can just fly down the aisle on the hoverboard and hand out the wine and the bread. Get it done with much quicker.
Yeah. I think everyone should be on hoverboards in church. Every single person.
No, that's going to be cause a traffic jam.
Oh, yeah, there might be traffic. Yeah.
Traffic at church.
Now, having said that, so we're almost sitting...
Now we have to say having said that a lot. With Albert having said that, we can transition and segue.
And with Stephen having said that I had said that, I'm going to transition into our game. Now, I did have other topics I wanted to discuss. There were the bees dying. Scientists discovered the insecticide that was killing all the bees. We'll talk about that next week. And then the stock market crashing and oil prices going down.
Lot
too much.
Yeah, it's a lot. So we'll just move that for next week. But Stephen, you had a new an idea for a game.
Yeah, it's kind of a game, but it doesn't really involve too much thinking here. But it basically has aspiring actors. Say we all three are aspiring actors in Hollywood. I don't know what our religion or background or ethnicity is, but we're just aspiring. And our first project in class as student actors is to try out. And one of our tryouts is to be the voice of a movie trailer. And we have, amongst three of us, we have three choices. Movie trailer, to imitate Tom Brokaw giving out a global news report, and also to imitate an NPR broadcast hosting one of his news shows. Okay. So amongst the three of us, we have to pick.
Okay. All right, so
Paul has the text, right?
Let me see.
While Paul's doing that, I'm going to play some music.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
Okay.
So so either Tom Brokaw, movie trailer guy, and then balls clipped NPR man.
So Paul, what do you prefer? We're a group of three.
I need a better microphone.
Maybe you should postpone the game. No,
that's all right. We'll just go for it.
Man, I don't remember how Tom Brokaw talks.
I could do Tom Brokaw if you want. You could try something else.
I'll do NPR guy.
Okay.
Okay, that's the second paragraph there.
Paul prefers to have his balls removed.
I would do the movie voiceover guy, but
you need the microphone.
I need the microphone.
Yeah.
Because you can't, over this flimsy mic, you can't hear my lower vocal
range.
What
do you call it? Yeah.
You only hear the high
mid-range. Yeah.
Okay.
So I barely have a voice.
That's perfect for your balls being clipped. The high treble.
Right, so
it's all about the balls being clipped. It's all about the balls being clipped.
Welcome to NPR News. The autonomous vehicle, when it actually becomes a reality, is supposed to relieve traffic jams, takes the stress of the daily commute from the embattled driver, and make the road generally a safer, saner place. According to Pulitzer Prize-winning auto critic Dan Neal, the self-driving car will also end the need for us to own a car. Reporting for NPR News, I'm Paul Felice.
All right. Hey, you make
nice.
A good case.
That's pretty good.
Submit that tape.
You're hired.
Yeah.
Did your balls get recently surgically removed? Yes. You're hired.
All right. That's a requirement.
Did you get hit hard in the balls? Yeah. So I can pick any passage any two?
No, you have to be the movie trailer guy because I think I got a Tom Brokaw.
Okay. No, I meant like which one do I read? Which passage?
It'd be the first one.
Okay.
That's Revenant.
All right.
Movie trailer.
And you wrote that, or was it like something?
It was a part. It was a transcript of I think a movie trailer.
Okay.
Deep in the uncharted American wilderness, Hunter Hugh Glass is severely injured and left for dead by a traitorous member of his team, John Fitzgerald. With sheer will as his only weapon, Glass must navigate a hostile environment. A brutal winter and warring tribes and relentless quest to survive and exact vengeance on Fitzgerald. Brought to you by Coca-Cola.
It sounds a little bit like Han Solo.
Yeah.
Deep in the uncharted American wilderness.
I don't know, every time especially...
Do they do those anymore?
I have to do a lot of commuting. I get to listen to these things, and you hear people's voices, and this is how they promote movies, with these dark, deep voices. I don't understand. That's a requirement.
I thought they don't do that anymore, though. The voice over.
Oh, they still do it.
Oh, they do. Okay.
It's not like it was. Remember in the '90s, they would essentially narrate the whole thing like that, but now it's a lot less. But
well, if you watch movies trailers from the 50s, they practically read the whole script of the film. It's like a 5-minute description of the film.
But on the radio they still have to do this kind of stuff. Just because there's
more radio.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Steven, you're going to be Brokaw.
Okay.
On Thursday, militants affiliated with Ice Cyst set off a series of explosions in the Indonesian city of Jakarta, killing at least 2 civilians. The country's president, Joko Jokowi of Jarkta, responded in a remarkable way. On Friday, as the authorities heightened security and anti-terror forces conducted raids, Jokowi visited the site of the attack and approvingly noted that things had returned to normal.
That's like Chris Parnell doing Tom Rook.
Yeah. That was pretty good. Yeah, I think you win.
Do I win? Okay. There it is. St. Paul knows how to do it.
There you go. Once you get the microphone, then...
Yeah.
Now we should do Tom Brokaw doing a movie trailer for NPR News.
Yeah, for NPR News. There you go.
How would that work?
And why do they make these people have those voices? Does it appeal to the greater American audience?
Yeah, they want a unique, distinctive voice to associate with the film, or
makes you think of or makes it suspenseful, right?
Yeah, it makes it dramatic. Gets you, you want to watch it just because of that voice.
Welcome to ASP StuffRadio, the show where we talk about balls being removed.
You don't really want to listen to the NPR guys, though.
Yeah.
That doesn't attract you.
No.
Hello, and welcome! Maybe for news. Maybe to get you interested in news.
I'd rather listen to Tom Brokaw, though.
Let's see. Well, there was another NPR story on the weekend. It was about a guy that he cut off the head of a chicken. He was a farmer, and he had to cut off heads of chickens. And he kept the chicken stayed alive.
Oh, really?
And he kept it for a while, and he did circus shows. And but the NPR guy reporting on that story, he had an especially high squealy voice. I'll have to find that for you guys.
Okay.
Maybe he was the guy who cut the chicken head.
No, the guy was interviewed. Actually, he's on the.
Or maybe that was the chicken head talking.
It could have been. It's not known what actually eventually happened to the chicken.
The chicken head was removed.
That goes along with our Peter Singer talks too, by the way.
Yeah, did Peter Singer comment on that?
No, I wonder what he would think about it, though.
Well, it extended the chicken's life.
Well, I guess the guy didn't quite get the whole. He was in between the neck and the head, so I guess part of the brain was intact or something.
Ew.
Yeah.
Gross. Having said that,
well, this is how farmers. This is how they kill their chickens. They just cut their heads off, and they run around for a while actually without their heads.
hence the chicken running around with his head.
That's the saying. Yeah.
So that's like the opposite of what came first, the chicken or the egg. It's what died first, the chicken head or the chicken body.
Yeah. Yep, that's another thing we can argue, debate about.
Yeah. I would think the body would go first, and then the head.
Oh yeah, the head would live on, and just you could freeze it and probably attach another body to it.
And then feed it.
You think the head?
And then feed
okay,
it to
what
a
dies
cat.
first, the body or the head?
I think the body.
The body would die first, and the head would probably live long for another 3
but
years.
The body needs the heart, right, to keep the blood pumping through it.
But the brain can be self-contained.
Yeah.
But where does it get its blood supply?
From inside the brain. There's another heart.
There's another heart in there.
A heart beating
Little
inside
mini heart.
inside the pineal gland.
It's a debatable topic, philosophical topic, I guess.
So, what's it?
So are you ready for our sign off? Is that what that is?
Yep, we're transitioning to our goodbye.
That
Did we? With that said, maybe we
With
could
that
change
said-
our sign off.
With that said, this is ASP Stuff Radio signing off with my balls in my brain
And whatnot.
and whatnot.
And so
Such
the
and
Albert
such.
Felices and the Paul Felices and the Stephen Felices of the world.
Yeah.
We'll be talking to you next week.
What was our sign off again? Shoot, I forgot.
I thought you had it, Paul, right?
It was something about, and so we're all stuffed up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe it can be, that said, we're all stuffed up.
With a chicken head cut off and the body still running around, we are all stuffed up. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, well, you got to say it once, and then we can't talk after that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and sign us off, Albert Felice.
All right. With my balls intact, this is ASP Stuff Radio signing off, and we are all stuffed up.